Hey guys, what's going on? I want to talk a little bit about tourniquets today. Tourniquets, I'll say right off the bat, probably one of the most important things you can ever have with you, ever. Tourniquets have shown over the years to be literally one of the most important life-saving tools you can have. I've been in EMS since about 2004, and in 2004 EMS was still indoctrinated with the idea that tourniquets were bad. Tourniquets were only a last resort. You know, for the first thing they wanted you to do was apply direct pressure. If direct pressure didn't work, they wanted you to elevate the extremity. If that didn't work, then they wanted you to do what do they call it, point pressure or something, or pressing manually on the artery. And then as a last resort, apply a tourniquet. And then there was always talk of, like, you have to release it every half hour or hour or whatever to allow blood flow and yada yada yada, and then tighten it back up. And then we started getting reports back from Afghanistan and Iraq that, guess what, tourniquets were saving lives. Throw a tourniquet on a dude, shut that extremity down. Guess what? He lived to make it to the hospital, so the surgical team could patch him up. And everybody was just amazed. And unfortunately, it still took so long for civilian EMS to accept the fact that tourniquets were a good thing, that tourniquets needed to have a place in our trucks and in our jump bags. So now, we fast forward to 2017, everybody's making tourniquets. There's tourniquets everywhere. So we're just going to talk a little bit about those and my thoughts on them from my experience and things that I've seen. So you basically have two modern styles of tourniquets. Okay, you have the elastic tourniquets that you pull and it compresses under its own elasticity, and then you have the windlass style tourniquets. Now, if I had my choice, if it was a perfect world and I can always have it on me somewhere, I'd have a windlass style tourniquet. There's no reason that you can't. You just have to figure out where to put it. I'm currently in the process of trying to figure out how to put a SOF-T tourniquet into my ankle first aid kit, my AFAC that I got from the Tactical Medic. I'll get it lined out. I've got a TK4 in there right now, but at some point I'll get that lined out and I'll be able to carry that SOF-T or a CAT in there, whichever. I think in my last video I might have said SWAT-T when I meant SOF-T. SOF-T is good to go. SWAT-T, I don't know. So anyway, one of the most popular elastic style ones are the RATS tourniquet, and I don't have one of those, but I do have the TK4 here, which it has these two hooks on either end, and it is elastic. Now then, the way you're supposed to use this, say you get shot in the arm, for a one-handed application, you can come in, hook this back through that hook, pull it across your body, hold it with that hand if you can, if your hand's operational, pull it across your body, wrap it around again, pull it across your body, wrap it around again, pull it across your body, and then use this other hook to hook inside the tourniquet itself, and that will hold it in place. Now, the thing about these elastic ones are, I am fairly confident, in fact extremely confident, that with an elastic style tourniquet like this, you can shut down an arm no problem. It's not going to be an issue. You'll shut down an arm like that. Now with these elastic style ones though, the problem gets to be when you're talking about a leg, if you have to put it on the thigh. Remember, the thigh is extremely muscular. There's a lot of, most thighs, extremely muscular. So you have to get enough pressure built up around that to compress that muscle down hard enough to shut those arteries off. So with this, it's going to be a chore. It's not going to be a one-handed thing. You're literally going to have to pull as tight as you can, and then maybe you can shut down a leg with it. But I think you're going to have an incredibly hard time. Now, anything is better than nothing, and even if you just slow the blood flow enough to where you can maybe control it at that point with some direct pressure and everything, that will help. But to completely shut it off, I think you're going to have a very, very difficult time with one of these styles of tourniquets. The next will be a windlass style tourniquet, and here I have a SOF-T. As you can see, a SOF-T has that metal windlass there, and then it has these hooks that thing hooks onto to stay in place. It has where the strap pulls through. It has this screw, and once you screw that down, that's tight. You can't move it either way. So you want to make sure that that screw is not all the way down before you apply the tourniquet. With these, I recommend carrying them staged to be able to go on a leg one-handed, to be able to get all the way up around your thigh one-handed. So you can carry it like that and then fold it up, and it fits in the same nice neat little package that it did when you had it pulled all the way through. But the last thing you want to do when you're trying to stop yourself from bleeding if you've been shot is have to dick with unscrewing this and pulling this out to the correct length and then putting it on. You want to be able to grab that thing, drop it, throw it over your arm, cinch that son of a bitch down, and start cranking. Crank it down until you can't crank it anymore. Tourniquets hurt like hell. If they don't hurt, you're not doing it right. It's going to hurt. But that's the deal with them, man. I much prefer a stylist. Jesus Christ, I need to sleep. I'm sorry. A windlass style tourniquet because it's just so much more effective for getting that pressure and pressing that muscle down and getting enough pressure on it for that muscle to compress that artery and shut that leg off. Doppler studies have shown that windlass style tourniquets are the most effective. Now, that being said, you can make a tourniquet out of all kinds of things. You can make tourniquets out of all kinds of things. But why should you have to? Why should you have to take the time to rig up a tourniquet out of something when you could have had this on you in the first place, or could have had this on you in the first place? These, by the way, great for kids. These suck for kids. Great for kids, suck for kids. But I've made tourniquets on the ambulance back when it was taboo to have tourniquets. We didn't carry them. Nobody would stock a tourniquet on their ambulance. They didn't want them on there. They thought it was a liability. So I would make tourniquets out of Curlicks and an ink pen. I would tie the Curlicks over, stick an ink pen on the knot, tie it again, crank it down, and then wrap the Curlicks around each side of the ink pen and tie it under the leg, and that would hold it in place. And I've had to do that a few times. Did it work? Yes, absolutely it worked. Do I want to have to ever depend on that again? No. I would rather have a commercially made tourniquet that is proven to work, just like the SOF-T. So, also, when people talk about tissue damage and nerve damage and shit like that, well, there's two things to look at there. Tissue damage resulting from use of a tourniquet. You have hours for that tourniquet to be on before you have any irreversible tissue damage. Hours. It's not going to happen in 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours. You have around 4 to 6 hours, depending, for that tourniquet to be in place and them still be able to repair it and get function back to the leg. Now, when you talk about nerve damage from a tourniquet, who the fuck cares? Like, I get it. Nobody wants to be sued or anything like that. But if your main goal is to stop a person from dying, put the fucking tourniquet on them. If they get nerve damage from it, that sucks. But at least they're alive. And that's the world we live in, man. That's the price you pay for trying to save somebody's life. There is always the chance that they could come back and try to sue you and stuff like that. And of course, most states have Good Samaritan laws where you can't be sued civilly for something as long as you were acting in good faith. So anyway, that's the thing, man. If blood's coming out, you got to stop it. You got to stop it by any means possible. So best option, have a commercially available tourniquet on you at all times. Also, I carry, quick clot and chest needles and MPAs and stuff like that. And if you're going to carry that stuff, you should get training on it and learn how to use it. But even if you don't know how to use it, it's always a good idea to have on you in case somebody who does know how to use it is there. So that's it. Carry medical stuff. Make sure that you are able to stop bleeding, profuse bleeding. If you can shut that arm down or shut that leg down or whatever and stop that bleeding, chances are they're going to be able to make it to a medical facility where they can be properly treated. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you want to like and subscribe, that would be awesome. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down below. And until next time, stay safe. Appreciate you watching.